Guild Wars Reforged. A big update to the original Guild Wars was absolutely not on my bingo card this year. And as someone who just started playing Guild Wars earlier this month for some video ideas I had, I thought it would be great to just take this moment to talk about what this means for existing or curious new players, why this is so amazing, and what the future might hold for Guild Wars before it comes out on the 3rd of December. And yes, I am walking on a treadmill while recording this video because I'm in the middle of my typical work routine and they decided to drop this trailer at like 8:40 a.m. my time. At least that's when I got the notification. So, I mean, I'm not going to waste any time here. I got work to do, but I wanted to make this video. So first, what exactly is Guild Wars Reforged? Well, it's a healthy new update to Guild Wars, increasing a lot of things that are going to be great for new and returning players alike. We're getting dynamic sky bloom effects. We're getting new ambient occlusion updates, better lighting effects to take advantage of some newer GPUs without drastically changing Guild Wars. Basically, they're making everything look a bit nicer without actually remastering the entire thing. So we're still getting that classic, like old school experience, which I gotta say has been a really, I don't think I've ever felt this nostalgic playing a game that I've never played before in Guild Wars 1. Typically, I can't go back and play older games that I've never played because I just can't get into it with the graphics and everything, but I've really been enjoying my time in old school Tyria. Maybe it's because I'm such a Guild Wars 2 fanatic. So we're also getting an updated UI. They're updating the UI resolution, so it's gonna look better on higher resolution monitors. I'm sure it's gonna look really great on the Steam Deck. You know, the UI is also going to be easier for navigating because the menus are a bit archaic, right? And it brings in a new quest tracking system, which is going to be huge because that is something I have been hating about the first Guild Wars 1, actually, is constantly clicking around all my different quests and seeing like, okay, which of these 7 quests is actually in this area, right? Plus, there's going to be like an on-screen control guide, right? So being able to see the Steam Deck stuff, all that kind of things. So this isn't a massive sweeping remaster from the ground up. This has clearly been to keep Guild Wars as original as possible while still making the overall experience better. You know, there's also the there's a positional audio update. You know, Guild Wars originally had this, but operating systems back in the day just couldn't do it. And so it was like taken out, I guess. And now they're bringing that back in because, you know, it's 2025. It's 20 years later. We can probably manage that, right? Now, the first and biggest question anybody might have hearing all of that with a name like Guild Wars Reforged: do I need to buy anything if I'm already playing it? And the answer is no. If you've purchased basically anything for Guild Wars, you'll be getting all the chapters of Guild Wars included for you, right? This is not a new game. This is an update in place. So if you own everything for Guild Wars, congratulations. You don't have to do anything. And for you new adventurers, the best news is that you can jump into the experience for $20, 20 US doll hairs, which I think is great. It's a much more reasonable price point for a game as old as Guild Wars. I did grab my 20th anniversary copy of Guild Wars literally a couple weeks ago, so I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little salty, but I picked it up for my content anyway. I probably wouldn't have picked it up if I wasn't having so much fun with my 30-day challenge series and wanted to try it out in the original Guild Wars that I'd never played. This probably would have been a good point where I would have gotten into it, even if I wasn't planning any content for it. Now, the next biggest thing for a large player base that may be out there, you Steam adventurers are going to want to listen up because Guild Wars is coming to Steam. Meaning Steam players can now link up a Guild Wars 1 account and go back to get the Hall of Monuments rewards if you've been dying to do so. But we have to remember these are separate ecosystems. You can't link a Steam Guild Wars 1 with a standalone Guild Wars 2 and vice versa, right? Which is very understandable, but a little bit of a bummer since Guild Wars is coming to the Steam Deck. It's going to be a Steam Deck verified out of the gate. We saw that in the launch trailer. But even better, if you don't own a Steam Deck and still want to play with a controller on your PC, it's supposed to work out of the box with a controller, which I think is great. In fact, for me, I think this is probably the biggest, coolest change after the price. I'm primarily a PC gamer, but having played Prophecies for a little while now, I think it's going to make a really perfect couch game for my Steam Deck over the winter here. It's a little bit slower paced. It can take a while to do some of the things, and the controls are really straightforward. I mean, you've got 8 skills. There's some buttons to like command people around and stuff like that, but overall, it's a really straightforward gameplay experience. So, what does this all mean for Guild Wars? Well, we don't know exactly, but depending on the reception, we could potentially see even more Guild Wars Reforged updates coming. Obviously, the two main ways companies see success is through financials, but to an extent, I would also guess overall community reaction and support is going to be another one. You know, in the blog post, they say Guild Wars Reforged isn't about a one-time update. We plan to keep collaborating with our partners at 2 weeks to make further improvements to the game in the future. So, I mean, this is fantastic, right? And if you're new and still on the fence about buying Reforged, I get it. That makes perfect sense. I'm in the middle of making several Guild Wars videos that this news has kind of like meteor impacted straight into the middle of. And soon I'll have a video more about the general gameplay and experiences that I've been having that should help you decide whether it's something you're interested in or not. And when I do, I'll put it right here. Until then, it'll just be this old video about nostalgia and MMOs I made that seems like a really fitting placeholder. But safe travels, adventurer, and thanks for watching.